Exactly who do the Minnesota Timberwolves think it is that they're trying to trade? The freaking starting five of the Golden State Warriors? Do you guys remember back when the Spurs were trying to trade Kawhi Leonard and we started getting some reports out saying that they had ridiculously high asking prices in exchange for Kawhi Leonard? Well, I guess the Wolves decided to take that to another level as their asking price is just astronomical. As Adrian Wojnarowski let us know exactly what the Minnesota Timberwolves are looking for in exchange for Jimmy Butler early in the morning. Minnesota's asking price for Jimmy Butler remains too steep for teams. Minnesota seeks a quality veteran, top prospects, future assets, and cap relief. Too high a price for interested teams including Miami. Sources are skeptical of Tom Thibodeau's desire to make a deal. These fools want an established vet, a young star, future picks, and for the other team to take on one of their bad contracts. Look, Tom Thibodeau, just because that is almost what you gave up in order to get Jimmy Butler last year doesn't mean that other teams are going to be dumb enough to do the exact same thing. So will somebody please just fire this man? It's clear that he's price gouging to try and make it so Jimmy Butler can't leave, since no team in their right mind is about to give up all of that for Jimmy Butler. And Tibbs already said that he told Jimmy that if he isn't traded by the end of the week that he has to rejoin the team for the start of preseason. So clearly, he still has no intent to trade Jimmy Butler away. Moving on though, Kevin Durant apparently isn't happy with the lack of recognition that he feels he gets for his basketball skill. I think he knows that all of us know that he is the best offensive player in the NBA right now. Like offensively, you're not touching Kevin Durant. But he thinks that because he didn't win Defensive Player of the Year this past season, that he is being disrespected on that end of the court, that people don't acknowledge how great he is defensively. And he sounded off on that during an interview yesterday.
You know they're not going to give me anything. Even if it's on the fence, I have to be clear-cut better than everybody for me to even get a look. So
why do you think that is?
I mean, it's just pure hate for me, obviously, and no appreciation for my real skill for the game. But I get it. I understand where we're coming from. I understand what we have here in this building that scares everybody. But for me, I was just proud of the growth that I had in that area, whereas I just wanted to be able to be relied on to guard anybody. You know, accolades, that stuff, that stuff is kind of long gone for me, unless it's like, you know, finals or something like that, where it's probably pretty even. But, you know, regular season awards, I mean, I'm never going to get a look when it comes to that, especially playing here for the Warriors.
You were checking James Harden on the ball in the Western Conference Finals. Are these folks not watching?
Yeah, they're not.
How about
Kevin Durant did make a massive leap defensively this past season, in which he did become one of the best defenders in the NBA. Even though you can't measure defense with stats, it is worth noting that he did average a career best 1.8 blocks per game, and I will say that I do think he deserved to finish higher than 9th in the Defensive Player of the Year voting last year. I don't think he deserved to win over Rudy Gobert. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, because it was the defense of Gobert that allowed the Jazz to turn their season around once he returned from injury. But I do think that Kevin Durant does deserve more recognition for what he did on the defensive end of the floor. And I almost never agree with Kevin Durant nowadays, but he is right about the fact that if he was ever going to win any type of regular season award, it would have to be a blowout in his favor. He's not going to win MVP in Golden State unless he does something ridiculous like average 35 points while joining the 50-40-90 club, and the only other awards he's even capable of winning would be Defensive Player of the Year. And I don't think he's ever going to get that either, since the voters would rather give it to Kawhi Leonard, Rudy Gobert, Anthony Davis, or Joel Embiid before KD. But in saying all of this, I'm sure that Kevin Durant had to know as soon as he signed up to join the Warriors that the possibility of him winning any regular season award from this point in his career forward, as long as he remains with the Warriors, is pretty much out the window. Anthony Davis had better start winning some regular season awards at some point though. Man couldn't even win Rookie of the Year because of injuries and Damian Lillard. But this guy is just way too good not to win some type of award at some point in his career. And he knows it too, as during an interview yesterday, he came out and proclaimed himself to be the best player in the NBA right now. In my eyes, I'm the best player in the game. I really feel that way, and nobody can tell me different. Now, of course, players always have a higher opinion of themselves than most other people are going to have. That is why, despite everything that happened this past season, Isaiah Thomas still sees himself as one of the best point guards in the NBA. And those type of comments, for the most part, we can usually just brush off. But when a guy like Anthony Davis says it, we have to take him a little more seriously. Now, do I personally think that AD is the best player in the NBA? No. That title still goes to LeBron until proven otherwise, to me at least. But I do think it's fair to say that Anthony Davis just might be the most dominant player in the NBA. Like, when I think of the name Anthony Davis, I just think pure dominance, because there's just nothing you can do to stop him. We saw it last season. After DeMarcus Cousins went down, Anthony Davis went on an unrealistic tear in which he managed to get the Pelicans right up there into the thick of things in the Western Conference, competing for the 3rd seed up until the very end. And I'm not just talking offensively, but I'm talking defensively as well. The guy is dominant. He's kind of like the modern day Shaq in terms of, during his time in the league, Shaq was the most dominant player in the NBA, but he was never necessarily considered to be the best player in the NBA. So yeah, I think that's Anthony Davis right now. And like I said at the beginning, he has to win some type of regular season award at some point in his career. At least one, if not two. Like, I can see him winning Defensive Player of the Year and MVP in the same exact year, and could be this year, who knows. Next up, Kyrie Irving's just going to have to flat out sign the extension with the Boston Celtics in order to get people to believe that he's not leaving the Boston Celtics. He's already alluded to this twice this week already up until this point. The fact that he's going to be with the Celtics long term and that he's not going to leave for the New York Knicks in the summer of 2019. Yet, despite all of this, for some reason, people still believe Kyrie Irving is going to leave the Boston Celtics for the New York Knicks in the summer of 2019. And that is why yesterday the man did everything but flat out sign the extension, as he just said what a lot of fans have been saying ever since the thought of him leaving the Celtics came up, and that is, why on earth would he leave the great thing that he has going in Boston? That doesn't make sense.
How are you going to handle that?
You want to give them your recruitment speech?
I think everything he just said was a recruitment in itself.
And who wouldn't want to be part of that, honestly? Because the future is very, very bright in Boston. You know, even if I ever tried to think about that thought of going elsewhere, it'd be like, what are you thinking? We're pretty effing good here. Like, we're pretty effing good for not just this year, but for years to come. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I think you're pretty much saying you're going to stay here and re-sign here.
It is what it is, honestly. I think that I'm comfortable in the position I'm in, and they know how I feel about them as teammates and the organization in general. So I'm happy to be a part of it, and I can't wait for it.
And after hearing that, I just wonder what the Celtics are going to do with Terry Rozier, and if he'd be willing to come off the bench behind Irving for his entire career and get paid a lot less too. Probably not. Anyways, that is going to do it for everything that we had to talk about today. Let me know what you guys think about all of this down in the comment section below. Is Anthony Davis the best or most dominant player in the NBA? Should Kevin Durant have won Defensive Player of the Year? Let me hear your opinions down in the comment section below. And if you haven't already, be sure to smack that like button and subscribe to the channel so you can stay updated with everything that goes on in the NBA. Thank you once again for watching. You guys already know that you are the real MVPs, and until next time, I'm out of here. Peace!